Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into anger. You know, that feeling we all experience, whether it's just uh, minor irritation or something much more intense like fury.
Exactly. And this deep dive, well, it's designed to be a bit of a shortcut. We want to help you understand where anger comes from, what might be hiding beneath it, and crucially, give you some practical tools
Tools for what exactly?
for managing it better, for your own well-being, really, and for healthier relationships, too.
Fantastic. Yeah, we've gathered quite a bit on this, the psychology, the biology,
Ah,
looking at how we can actually get a better handle on this powerful emotion.
yeah.
So let's just jump right in. Where does anger actually start? What sparks it?
Well, often it really begins with how we interpret things. Um, think about getting cut off in traffic, you might immediately think, that was disrespectful, and
Well,
boom, there's the anger.
okay.
Psychologists call that a cognitive appraisal. Basically, judging a situation as, unfair, maybe harmful, or threatening in some way.
So it's the meaning we attach to it.
Precisely. And another big piece is our learned behaviors, how anger was expressed in your house growing up. That definitely shapes how you react now.
That makes sense. It's about interpretation, the story we tell ourselves. Isn't there a model for this?
Yes, Dr. Jerry Deffenbacher. His work kind of distills it. You have a triggering event, right? Then your own personality traits, your history, they kick in. And then comes the appraisal. Is this blameworthy? Unjustified? Does it need punishment?
I see.
It's that final judgment, that interpretation that really ignites the anger.
Interesting. So it's really not just the thing that happens, but what our mind does with it. But there's a physical reaction too, isn't there? Our bodies get involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big time. When your brain senses a threat, real or perceived, the amygdala, it's like your brain's alarm system. It goes off.
Yeah.
And that tells the hypothalamus to activate the fight or flight response. Hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline surge.
Giving you that energy boost.
Exactly. Increased heart rate, blood pressure goes up, you breathe faster, muscles get tense. Your whole body is basically prepping for action. Even cortisol, the stress hormone, gets involved.
Right, that full body feeling. Now, anger isn't always the same intensity, is it? It feels like there's a spectrum.
Definitely. Think of it like a volume knob. It starts low, maybe with mild annoyance, irritation, impatience, maybe an eye roll when your computer freezes. Then it can dial up to frustration. That's when a goal's blocked, you feel stuck, stressed. Then comes hostility. That's a more intense reaction. Maybe defensiveness, arguments. Road rage fits here too.
Okay.
And at the top end, you've got fury or rage. That's overwhelming. You might feel like you're losing rational thought, maybe even become aggressive. There are real physical symptoms then too.
Wow. So recognizing where you are on that spectrum is important.
It's a key first step. There are even anger scales people can use for self-assessment. Just knowing the level helps you manage it.
Right. And sometimes that anger we actually show people, it's not the whole story, is it? It can be like an iceberg.
That's a perfect analogy. Anger is often called a secondary emotion because it frequently masks something deeper, something more vulnerable.
Like what? What kind of things might be underneath?
Well, fear is a common one. Anger can be a defense mechanism. Maybe someone gets angry when their partner goes out with friends, but underneath, they're actually feeling insecure
Vice?
or hurt. Anger can act like a shield against pain, like lashing out after a breakup instead of showing sadness. Shame, too, feeling not good enough, can trigger anger to deflect attention. Even sadness or grief can come out as anger because it feels maybe more acceptable or powerful.
Oh, powerlessness.
Yes, definitely. Feeling powerless or out of control can lead to anger as a way to project strength. So yeah, the anger is just the tip. The real issues are often submerged.
That anger iceberg concept is really useful. Okay, so what are some common things that actually set off these reactions? What are the typical triggers?
And they fall into a few buckets, really. People, places, situations. Common ones include interpersonal conflicts, arguments, feeling disrespected or ignored. Injustice or unfairness is a big one, when our sense of what's right is violated. Frustration, obviously unmet expectations, blocked goals, from tech problems to major life setbacks.
Right.
Stressful situations in general can lower our threshold. And don't forget physical factors, being in pain, tired, hungry, uncomfortable. These can all make us more prone to anger.
And sometimes it's linked to mental health conditions.
Yes, it can be a symptom of things like depression, anxiety, OCD, bipolar disorder, or intermittent explosive disorder. So reflecting on your personal triggers, what really pushes your buttons, is super helpful.
Okay, so we're getting a clearer picture of the roots and triggers. Now, the big question, what can we actually do when we feel that anger starting to build?
Well, there are things you can do right in the moment. Deep breathing is a classic for a reason. It helps calm your nervous system down.
Okay.
Taking a time out is huge.
Yeah.
Just stepping away from the situation briefly to cool down, get some perspective. Mindfulness techniques focusing on the present moment without judgment can also create space.
And longer term.
Longer-term strategies involve things like cognitive restructuring that's actively challenging the negative thoughts that fuel the anger. Improving communication skills is vital, using I statements, listening actively.
Yeah.
Developing other healthy coping mechanisms too, exercise, hobbies, spending time in nature. And importantly, seeking professional help like therapy or counseling if anger is really impacting your life.
So it's less about, just trying to suppress the anger and more about understanding it and steering it constructively. This sounds like where emotional intelligence fits in.
Exactly. Emotional intelligence, or EI, is crucial. It involves self-awareness, recognizing your own emotions as they happen, self-regulation, managing those impulses, not just reacting, empathy, understanding things from others' perspectives, which can de-escalate things, and motivation, using that energy constructively.
How can anger be constructive?
Anger can be a powerful motivator for positive change. It can signal that a boundary has been crossed and needs reinforcing. It can fuel problem solving or drive you to advocate for something important. The key is to look at the underlying need or value that the anger is pointing to.
So let's quickly recap. We've explored how our thoughts and biology fuel anger, the different intensities it has, the emotions it might be masking.
Right. The common triggers, practical ways to manage it both in the moment and long term.
And how emotional intelligence helps us transform that energy.
Exactly. Understanding all these facets really empowers you to respond to anger differently, which is better for you and everyone around you.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to consider. Think about one time this past week you felt angry. Just reflect for a moment. What might have been the feeling underneath that anger? And based on what we talked about, was one small different step you could try next time. Thanks for diving deep with us today.